how's it going, Mets fans? Let's get some hype in the chat. We talked about it yesterday and Bleav in Queens episode 14. Is Brett Baty going to be called up? The future of the Mets position at third base, the hot corner. The best thing potentially since David Wright. It has happened. The man has been called up. Finally, we are so amped. We got a lot to discuss here in this breaking news show here on WardyNYM. Smash that like and subscribe button for your boy. But let's get those W's in the chat. Yes, it is true. Brett Baty has been called up. And no, don't trust me when I say I'm not expecting Brett Baty to come out and be the best player on the Mets. But this is exciting as all hell, guys. This is such big news for the team in Queens. An absolute bomb. Shout out Michael Mayer for dropping the news originally, but then Jeff Passan, the man who always drops bombs for everyone here in baseball with breaking news. It has happened. Yes, Brett Baty will be called up. He will be arriving in Atlanta, I would assume today, and then he will hopefully be starting for the Mets tomorrow. In case you guys do not know, Eduardo Escobar was supposed to start tonight at third base, was a last-minute scratch because of his ailment, obviously still not 100%, can't even swing from the right side of the plate, right? You see they have Marrero in there, a 31-year-old infielder who gets a start at third, who has very little production at the MLB level in his career, isn't doing anything crazy in the minors either. Just a guy that has infield flexibility. All of us Mets fans, including myself, were crying, saying, when is Brett Baty going to be up? It feels inevitable. I was telling you guys, even if it didn't happen within the first couple games, I expected it to happen at some point this week. And then, bomb, Michael Mayer drops the news originally. Jeff Passan passes it down, and we are all hyped. Guys, I'm so pumped up. Finally, guys, the Mets get themselves a prospect right now. A kid who can come in and actually be a spark, have an impact for this team. So, yes, in case you guys don't know, it was from Michael Mayer, Mets Mirage, then Jeff Passan of ESPN. Jeff is never wrong. If he's dropping that news, you know for certain it's going to happen. If you look on all social media, yes, Brett Baty is in fact heading to Queens, baby. So, guys, I want to know everyone's initial reactions to this. I'm going to put up a poll here in the live chat right now, and then we'll go forward. But, guys, I'm amped up. I'm juiced up. Let's see. We're already halfway to 100 likes. Thank you guys so much. We're going to try to get 200 to 300 likes by the end of the live show. Greatly appreciate it. But let's get a poll in the chat, guys. How excited are you? All right, guys, look, I got a lot to say about this move for the Mets, and I'm going to come out and say it right now. This is something that all of us Mets fans were hoping for because, look, Eduardo Escobar, he hasn't been doing anything crazy at all at the third base position for the Mets. Not offensively, not defensively. He's been subpar. And now he's someone that's dealing with an ailment right now that he's unfortunately sustained back on Friday, and I was in attendance for that game, and the Mets losing 2-1 to the Phillies in extra innings. But Eddie, who's still not 100%, Guillorme's out for a minimum of a month. Separately, Cookie Carrasco's out a minimum of a month, which is really unfortunate. I'll describe it either later in the show or definitely in tonight's post-game show, hopefully after a Game 2 win for the Mets in Atlanta with Taijuan Walker on the bump. But this felt inevitable. It really felt like the time was now for the Mets to bring up Brett Baty, especially because he is someone, unlike the likes of, that being in Francisco Alvarez, he's not someone that has struggled since being moved up to the AAA level. Yes, he's only had like a week full of games thus far in AAA, but he's absolutely raked thus far. I mean, Brett Baty on this season splitting time with both AA and AAA. 19 bombs, 60 RBIs, 76 runs scored, over 300 batting average, a rough just shy of a 950 OPS for a 22-year-old left-handed hitting, beautifully placed power bat that can spread the field, hits for opposite field. He gives me a lot. He honestly reminds me a little bit of Michael Conforto. Whenever you have a lefty bat that knows how to spread for opposite field power, and that gets me excited. And coincidentally enough, this may very well be the most impactful rookie that the Mets have out of the jump down the stretch heading in the playoffs since someone like Michael Conforto back in 2015. We've seen these sparks before, and not that the Mets need it, but it's the fact that the Mets have a luxury now of a kid that has progressed well at every single level he's played in the minor leagues to this point. I love Francisco Alvarez, and even with the Mets having Tomas Nino, however, on the COVID IL, they don't have that adamancy for a guy like Alvarez, who's not even batting the Mendoza line in AAA right now. His big swing and miss. I love him, but he's just not ready just yet The Mets don't need to rush him. Same thing with Mark Vientos. Vientos profiles best as a DH. He doesn't profile best at third. The guy cannot handle the glove at the hot corner at the MLB level. Brett Baty, I find it hard to believe he's going to be much worse than what we're seeing from Eduardo Escobar right now. An injured Eddie at third, no less. So this just made perfect sense, guys. And when you look at Brett Baty's numbers right now in AAA, in 6 games, 22 at-bats, again, small sample size, albeit 1 RBI, a 364 batting average, and an 826 OPS. The only thing that has not progressed so far at the AAA level, again, not that it matters much because you go from an 89-game sample in AA to a 6-game sample in AAA. The only thing that's different is the slugging. He had a 544 slug in AA. He has a 364 in AAA. But again, that would continue to change the more reps he would get on the season. He has a roughly 500 slug overall in the year. Brett Baty, this is absolutely nuts. Fake news, clickbait. Oh, Mets fan, it's okay if you're not paying attention. All you got to do is go on this thing called social media. Check out Jeff Passan of ESPN, kind of the most prominent reporter in baseball, and he will tell you that, yes, Brett Baty is being caught up. But yes, Michael Mayer is the one who dropped the news before. I'm just reiterating the Jeff Passan report because a lot of people don't know, unfortunately, who Michael Mayer is. He's really reliable. He breaks a lot of news for the Mets, covering it in Mets Mirais blog. But for it to be reaffirmed now that we're seeing here with Jeff Passan and others, this is just massive. This is huge news for the New York Mets. I'm juiced up. I'm pumped up, and I'm feeling electric. I'm feeling absolutely insane about this, guys, and I hope you all are too. So, guys, continue. Let me know your thoughts here in the live show that Brett Baty has been called up to the New York Mets. We'd expect that he's going to make his debut probably sometime tomorrow, and I'd imagine as well, you do not call up a kid like this unless he's fully expected to be starting every day. So I don't expect Beatty to be called up and not even start tomorrow. As long as he's healthy, as long as he's ready to go and feeling juiced up that he can handle this, that I think that the Mets are in a great spot to have Brett Baty come in and be performing well right away. But we do see a donation here from Blue Squad. Thank you so much for that, Blue Squad. So very hype, much needed third baseman. Absolutely. I mean, Beatty he has the tools. He's a guy that when you look at his defensive skill set, he's not far off from what the Mets currently have in the position. Of course, he's not a wizard like the Luis Gourmets, among others, but he is a guy that can hold his own and surely can handle himself better. And this is no slight to Mark Vientos, but we all know the only reason why Mark Vientos has progressed this well early in his career in the minors is because of his bat, not because of his defensive upside and prowess. It's been offense first. And Brett Baty, yes, he's a little bit offensive first, I would agree, but it's not nearly as drastic as what we're seeing with other guys in the Mets farm at the hot corner. You bring in Brett Baty, he's the most hyped up third base prospect the Mets have had since David Wright. No, I'm not expecting Beatty to come out and be the best thing since David Wright, but I do expect Brett Baty to come in and actually have an impact. I will be a little surprised if I'm being completely blunt, completely honest with you guys. I will be a little surprised if Brett Baty comes in and doesn't have at least a solid impact to start his career because he hasn't drastically dropped anything. And again, I know this is the big leagues. This is not the same as what we're seeing right now in the minor leagues. A guy can adjust really well that we see with Michael Harris III and Vaughn Grissom, the young stud prospects that are now playing for the Atlanta Braves. But then you have other guys that don't adjust well right away to the bigs and need more time, more seasoning. So we'll see what Brett Baty does have in store for this New York Mets team. But what I do know and what I can tell you guys right now is that this is a phenomenal move for them. This is a big effing deal. I know it is. I know you guys know it is as well. So continue to let me know your thoughts here in the live show further on how you're feeling about Brett Baty, guys, and then we'll go forward here from there. But man, oh man, I'm feeling electric. All eyes on Brett Baty. Absolutely. This feels so good. And yes, of course, Beatty is not starting tonight. He's getting the call up today as we speak. I wouldn't have expected him to start, but this is just massive, guys. I'm juiced up. I'm feeling electric. Guys, give me 1 second. Going to double check something on my phone, and then we'll go forward here in the show. Let's see here. I remember in 2019, they said Pete wasn't good at first base. Exactly. And look, Alonso has come a long way with his defensive upside, his strides. There's no denying that. Alonso is already a far superior first baseman rather, defensively than what he was when he first got called up to the bigs. So that is true. But what is also true is the fact that the Mets are now bringing in a kid that has progressed at every single level. Guys, when we go down the laundry list for Brett Baty, let's do exactly that. Look, his first year when he was playing in low A in 42 games, had a 776 OPS with a 222 average in 2019. Then when he moved up to a higher level, was actually even doing better, a 350 average with over 1,000 OPS. Then with Brooklyn in 2019 to start off that year, 200 average and an 829 OPS. But we get into 2021 because he did not play, of course, in the shortened 2020 season. There was no minor league play. However, in 2021, combined between both A+ and AA, had himself a 292 average, 855 OPS, 12 home runs, 56 RBIs, and a total of 43 runs scored. Now, this season in total, he has taken another step in his game. That is Brett Baty, to the point where, again, the best numbers of... Oh, let's see here. There's an ad out of nowhere. Why is there an ad popping up? Out of nowhere, we're seeing here for Brett Baty to take that next level in his game, folks. The official news. Yes, it is official. 100%. It's been reported by Jeff Passan, Michael Mayer, among others. But this season, as you see right here, guys, 19 bombs, 60 RBIs, 76 runs scored. And this is all in a total of 95 games so far this season. So he has been an on-base king, a 315 average, a total of a, let's see here, let's look at his overall. He has a 410 on-base percentage, guys, a 410 OBP, 406 OBP in AA, and in a handful of games now in AAA, even higher at 462. Obviously, that would change. That would drop over time. But man, oh man, this is huge for the Mets to get a kid like him. And of course, the 533 slug for a 943 OPS. Electric. This is, as I would love to call it, as my good buddy Darren would say, absolute scenes for the New York Mets to get someone of his caliber. That bringing Brett Baty to be in the hot corner for the Mets right now. And more than anything, guys, I'm just excited that Brett Baty is going to be coming in and he's making his debut against an Atlanta Braves club, not just because they're the arch rivals for the Mets, but also because of the fact that the Braves have been known to be that team that brings up guys like this year, for instance, and in years past, either their pitching or what we're seeing in their prospect pool when it comes to position players, and they just all thrive. And it's going to be very exciting to see how Brett Baty adjusts now to the MLB level. Is it going to be to the same or similar caliber than what we've seen with the Michael Harris III, who again he's a phenomenal outfielder, Gold Glove caliber already, ridiculous speed, stolen bag machine, hits for contact, hits for power, and now Vaughn Grissom, who again, when Grissom just got called up, this kid literally is raking. He's batting like over 300, almost 400 now, with a couple bombs in just 6 games since being called up, when he only had a small sample size at the AA level this year, let alone AAA. So the Braves, they knew how to properly execute. Their front office has done a great job with not just their pitching and bringing up guys and stretching out guys like Spencer Strider, whether you love him or hate him. It's a fact. Him being stretched down from a reliever to a starter has benefited them. Other guys from the minors have benefited them. And from a position player standpoint, this is a Braves team that is surely going to make playoffs and is going to be directly impacted by the young kids that they brought up this year. Now, Brett Baty comes into a Mets team that is right in the heart right now of staying in first in the NL East. The pressure will be on him, but not to the degree as if the Mets were, say, a team that did not have the Pete Alonsos, the Francisco Lindors, the Brandon Nimmos, the Jeff McNeils, among Starling Martes, among all the other great players. Brett Baty can fit in so nicely in this lineup that's deep as all hell as is. So yes, he's going to get some nice pitches to see at times for sure, because they're going to attack him more in the zone. They're not going to be addressing him the same way that they address the likes of Pete Alonso and others. But you look at Brett Baty right now and his potential impact on this Mets roster now. Yes, you have the Atlanta Braves. Then you have the Philadelphia Phillies and the LA Dodgers, the New York Yankees. The month of August is ridiculous. Schedule-wise right now. But once you get into that month of September, assuming that Brett Baty is still on the team and he did not have a major setback since being called up, Brett Baty gets to face the bottom of the barrel teams. You know, the cream of the crop for the Mets here and facing below average clubs. The Mets have one of the easiest schedules in all of baseball in the month of September. So as long as Baty can hold his own and make himself worthy of staying with this Mets club for the next 2 weeks, then he'll have a chance to really thrive, to really ball out and get further into the swing of things in the month of September against the lesser teams of the Pirates, of the Reds, the Cubs, all the NL Central basically, and some other teams, with the assumption that maybe he didn't get his full swing ready to go. Maybe he was getting a lot of pressure early on when facing these big dogs in the Braves and the Phillies and the Yanks and the Dodgers. So I'm excited. This is very interesting to see how everything is going to match up for the New York Mets. But what I can tell you right now, right here, folks, is that the Mets are in great hands. They finally brought up a kid the first time in forever. And again, it's a beauty because it's not like we're looking at Brett Baty to be a saving grace, right? It's not like Brett Baty will ultimately dictate the Mets making the playoffs or not. This is just a luxury. This is someone that can come in the second half of the order here in the 1 through 9 and see some nice pitches, barrel that bad boy, hopefully have a strong glove, at least a decent glove at third to make him warranted of starting every day, especially with the assumption of, is Eduardo Escobar going to be put on the IL? What is his status going to be? That's another thing that we'll be awaiting because, again, if he was scratched again today, I don't know how I'm feeling. Eddie had a bad error at third yesterday. He just doesn't look comfortable. And this is not me wishing injury on him or anyone for that matter, but Brett Baty does not look like a guy yet that is fully healthy and should be playing every day at third base. So because of that reason, I expect the Mets to be rolling out Brett Baty at third quite a bit over Escobar, and with Gourmet also being out. It's crucial that the Mets give this kid playing time, give him enough of a leash, something that, they haven't done necessarily, much to this point because they haven't needed to. The Mets haven't needed to rush up and bring up a Vientos and Alvarez. As much as some of us Mets fans, including myself with Vientos for a little bit, were hoping to see, the Mets never need to do that because they were able to hold their ground, hold their own for the time being, and know that they still have a strong enough club to get through the adversities that they face this year, either inconsistencies by these respective positions or the inevitable injuries that have come, especially guys like James McCann at the backstop, not once but twice this year. But when evaluating this current Mets roster and how Brett Baty fits, you look at this line now 1 through 9, and you have the potential to add a bat. That's exactly what the Mets hoped Eduardo Escobar would be this year, but maybe even better now. Eddie is a guy that's around a 250 average, can hit you upwards of 25, 30 bombs, hopefully 60, 70 RBIs. He hasn't done any of that this year. Eddie has been a shell of what he normally is. I mean, the RBI, the home run rate's down. He quite literally has not had a consistent swing since the first month and a half of this season. Yes, he had that pretty cycle against the Padres, but outside of that, what has Eddie done this year? And I love Eduardo Escobar. He's such a great guy. He's a great personality. I think he's great for the clubhouse, but I think Eddie is best suit now going forward, potentially off the bench, or especially as a lefty killer. Once he heals up and feels good from that right side, for his swinging from the right side of the plate, rather, I think that's a nice thing. If the Mets have more platoon options, the better. Now, I don't know exactly how well Brett Baty has done against left-hand pitching this year, but in the assumption that he's better against righties and lefties, it just makes further sense why you can platoon things on that front. And, of course, once Luis Gourmet is back, then you have more defensive upside. There will be maybe some days where the Mets really want to roll out the best offense and defense possible. They will throw out Jeff McNeil in left field once Gourmet's back, which, again, won't be till the end of the season, so we'll talk about that down the road when it happens. But you'll have Gourmet at second. You'll have Beatty at third, potentially. The options that now Buck Showalter has is more amplified than it's ever been this year. And that's exciting to say because Buck is a guy that absolutely loves, and I mean loves, utilizing all these different aspects of his roster. He's not a guy that wants to be solely reliant on having one thing over the other. He's a guy that likes options for the Mets. If you guys don't remember, in case you guys don't recall, the Mets are the oldest team in baseball on paper. It goes directly in hand with their starting rotation. We know that, but this is a Mets team now that Brett Baty comes in the mix, assuming that Escobar will be healthy. We'll see if he needs IL stint or not. But you get all these options for this club right now, and it truly is an embarrassment of riches. I mean, you lose Cookie Carrasco, but now you gain a potential offensive upside, which is something that the Mets haven't had to this degree, this potential here at third. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm raving about this kid, but just because I'm raving about this kid does not guarantee whatsoever that he is going to amount and do anything crazy right from the jump at the MLB level. But what we do know is that there is reason why he is so hyped up. There is a reason why he has this utmost potential. There's a reason why he's one of the top prospects in baseball and the number 2 prospect in the Mets organization, only trailing the potential generational talent at the backstop, that being in Francisco Alvarez. So, guys, let me address a couple donations here, and then we'll go forward here to the show. Continue smashing that like and subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it. Help us get 300+ likes by the end of the live show. Would mean a lot to my 600 viewers. And also, of course, help us get to 18K subs for the next short-term goal on the channel if you guys are enjoying it. And again, thank you guys all so much for chiming in. I've been having a blast talking all things Mets with you guys. This is just absolutely massive. Again, I spoke it into existence. All Mets fans, so many Mets fans and their mothers are saying, how could he be this optimistic and upward? There's no chance the Mets are going to bring up Baty. And I felt confident. I honestly didn't even think that Beatty was going to be called up yesterday because that's short notice. I'm not surprised that it only took one game now and soon to be two here against the Braves. Then now Brett Baty's being called up. Look, the Mets haven't been perfect with their front office. They haven't made every proper decision, especially on the bullpen front more than anything. But it's talking about not overreacting in a short-term span when we knew Yorme would be out for a month plus. When you have a guy playing at third more than anything, out for that long a period of time, with Eduardo Escobar that's still banged up, literally had to get scratched today at the time of recording this, you knew damn well that the Mets were going to make another move. That was going to be something internally. How on of a leash are they going to get Marrero? It looks like Marrero, this might be his only start with the Mets. Maybe he'll get some more. It'll all be indicative on how Brett Baty's feeling and how well he looks out of the plate, assuming he starts tomorrow. But tomorrow is where we're going to have all eyes locked for Game 3, and that's going to be huge because assuming Brett Baty does start tomorrow, he'll be starting his first game while Max Scherzer is on the bump for him. So, I mean, hey, it's not even the first time that he's getting a chance to play with Scherzer, if I'm not mistaken, because Scherzer had his rehab stints this year. And I know, of course, that he's played with Jake because of Jake's rehab, but it's going to be sick to see them together. The young and the old balancing this group from on the field and in the clubhouse. It's awesome to see. But Brendan with the $5 donation, thank you so much for that, Brendan. Brendan says, I'm a prospect hugger, especially because the Mets have traded away so many. So happy to see a new top prospect since Alonso. Absolutely, Brendan. Guys, let's get some love and hype in the chat for Brendan. He's a phenomenal supporter on the channel. We love this guy. But Brendan, I want to say something more about Beatty because I'm not going to lie. I'm someone, especially in the right situation, I'm not afraid of the Mets trading away top prospects, depending on what you're getting, especially if the players that you get are controllable players, because prospects are prospects until they prove themselves, right? However, when you see what Brett Baty has done this year, he has sneakily, quietly kind of been one of the most impactful prospects in all baseball, especially coming from the NL East, right? We've seen endless hype about Mark Vientos because this guy feels like he hits bombs every day of the week. You see endless hype with Francisco Alvarez, even him getting still adjusted, not 100% acclimated at the AAA level yet, still trying to find his swing. But we all know when Alvarez barrels a bad boy, that's going upwards of 500 feet. So there's been a lot of hype with these respective prospects, but there hasn't, in my opinion, been nearly as much talk or rightfully deserving for someone like Brett Baty, and now we're seeing it, which is awesome. But man, oh man, I'm so pumped. I'm so happy to see Brett Baty with this club. I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to this team. How much length is he going to bring the Mets from a defensive side of things, offensive side of things? Guys, if Brett Baty comes in and be a spark plug that we know he potentially can, this takes this lineup to another level, which is hard to fathom when they already are one of the best in baseball. So it's like, you know, we've seen what the Braves have done with Harris, with Grissom. You know, now we're going to throw our card down and say, hey, we can compete with that. We have some top prospects that are MLB ready. Let's give them a shot, and let's see if we can have similar results to the great results that we've seen from our rivals and across the league with top prospects being called up this year and having a direct impact. Brennan, thank you so much for that dono. Always appreciate that. Hype in the chat to you, my friend. Let's go down the list further here. Dean with the $5 donation. Thank you so much for that, Dean. This better be the case. Marrero was Eduardo's backup when trying to push Eduardo. Yes, exactly. Now with Eduardo out, Beatty better start over Marrero versus righties. I think Beatty's going to start a good amount because, again, you don't bring up a Brett Baty that's just getting his feet wet at the AAA level unless you're going to give him playing time. I expect Beatty to get playing time. I feel like he's a guy that's going to, at minimum, start, 2 or 3 games in a series. Again, I don't know what his righty-lefty splits are right now, so that's the only thing that I would have to say. Maybe I'll get a chance to look it up before the end of the show. Regardless, though, if he can be competent against lefties, then that's good, too. Adonis Medina's gone. What, was he moved as a transaction? Mets caught up RJ Alvarez. Did the Mets call up RJ Alvarez? Let me know in the chat, guys. The pitcher, No Lestine, thank you so much for the dono. I greatly appreciate that. Hype in the chat to you. And yeah, no, Beatty's not starting tonight, but he will be. He will be hopefully starting for the Mets tomorrow, is assumably the earliest that he will. Darren, how's it going, my great friend, great member here in the chat, all you guys. Hey, Braves were lucky yesterday, right? Ed says, I'm totally stoked about this. I'm beyond stoked about this. And guys, continue smashing that like and subscribe on. It means a lot. Like I said, we're trying to get to 18K subs for the next short-term goal on the channel. Greatly appreciate everybody. Now let's see here. I'm going to look at the poll quick and see where we're at in the poll. We're also right around 100 likes away from getting to our 300 like goal by the end of the show. So thank you guys so much for that. Continue smashing that like and subscribe on. In the poll, wow, we have a whopping 96% of you guys out of the over 500 votes are in favor of this move to a measly 4%. The 4%, everyone has their opinion. I'll leave it at that. But it is interesting to see how drastic the differences were between the two. But again, appreciate everyone that's been chiming into the poll. Thank you so much for the likes and the subscriptions, guys. We're going to be going live for a little bit longer, so just bear with me, everybody, as we're sharing our live reactions to the Mets calling up their top left-handed hitting third base prospect. Thomas coming in from the top. Love this. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, so he's competent. He still hits lefties decent. That's great. Hype in the chat to Thomas. Also, shout out to you, Thomas, for thinking that the Mets would not be bringing up anyone by the end of the year. I told you so. I texted you that. I was right. You were wrong for a change. That always feels good to say. But Thomas, though, 331 is Brett Baty's average this year versus right-handed pitching. Shout out to you, Thomas, for the number. Great member, great friend. 256 average versus lefties. I'll gladly take that. I will gladly take that. So hype in the chat for you, Thomas. Thank you so much for the splits. I appreciate that very much so. You're not a fan of call-ups this late, but when there's a need, it's a no-brainer, says Daniel. Exactly. This is something where it is a need for the Mets, and also it's not like you're rushing. It's not like you're rushing the situation, you know? And that's a big thing. This was not a situation where I looked at Brett Baty being called up, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's really, really being rushed up. Like, we're really going to hurt his development. No. You can even make the argument if Beatty wasn't called up yet to what we saw in AAA for the past week and a half now. You could have more of a rightful argument that you're saying maybe we're rushing him up slightly because he didn't even play at the AAA level, but at least he's had a taste at AAA and he's completely executed. He hasn't had any drastic setback or anything. And not 800 OPS versus left-handers and a 980. So he's still above average against lefties for the most part. 800 OPS versus southpaws is huge as a lefty hitter. And a roughly 1,000 OPS versus right-handed. That's nasty. Absolutely disgusting. That's huge. I mean, awesome, awesome, awesome. So again, Nick, thank you so much for that comment too. Appreciate that. Mets suck, go Braves. That's cute coming from the guy that's 8-5 against the Mets this year. We'll see how tonight goes. If the Mets lose tonight, then by all means talk your talk. But if they don't, then I don't expect you in here because Braves fans usually only come out when they win a game once in a blue moon. So appreciate that comment, no less, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're excited for tonight's game the way that I know I am, regardless of the results. Why do Braves fans come in the chat? Because they're riding high. They won the World Series yesterday, winning 13-1. So let them enjoy that while they still can. We do have some respectful Braves fans in here, though. I appreciate that. And know that I always say this: when you beat the Mets, you have all the right in the world to talk shit. There's no denying that. All I say is that it's just funny because a lot of Braves fans really, really did wait until it was this game. You know what I mean? Like, let's see how tonight goes. If the Mets lose again tonight and either split or lose a series, then it's Braves fans time to talk it up all they want. They have all the right in the world to, because again, we're all short-term on this information. That's just how it goes. So, and I don't blame you. Everyone's the same way. If the Mets say lost their last series against the Braves, but win this series, then Mets fans would act the same way. So I get it. How old is Beatty? Beatty is 22 years of age. Yes, Brett Baty is 22 years of age, everybody. So, guys, my 600-plus live viewers, in case you're just chiming in now for the first time, Brett Baty is, in fact, going to be a New York Met, guys. We talked about this. I'm just, man, oh, man. You got Vaughn. What do you effing do? Vaughn meet Brett Baty. Let's see how they match up against each other tomorrow. Vaughn's a good player. Vaughn and Harris, both young studs for the Braves. I got no ill will against them. It sucks because they're on the Braves, but they are very talented players. I have no ill will against them. Obviously, I'm not rooting for them in the series, but yeah, no, the Braves have a lot of great young talent, but so do the Mets, and it's exciting to see them finally start to bring up, hopefully, one of many over this next year of the next guys that are supposed to be part of this Mets core group prospect-wise. It starts with Beatty. Then we have Vientos and Alvarez. I'd imagine we'll get a taste of the bigs, if not more, next year. I think Alvarez, if he can adjust enough to AAA before the end of the season, we could see Alvarez Alvarez make his debut easily early next year. Same thing with Mark Vientos. Mark Vientos has the bat. The only reason why Vientos was not prioritized here, guys, over Brett Baty was quite literally, one, Baty still having a better year, but two, we're also seeing that with Vientos, he just doesn't have the defensive upside right now. If he can get his defensive upside better, where he's more than just a DH you can throw out there, then great. However, Vientos is someone that is kind of in a tough position at the moment because the Mets have DH locked down, at least for this year. But for next year, things could definitely be different. How do I feel about Contreras walk-ups on? I think it genuinely pisses me off. I mean, it's a very petty move by the Braves to play that when he hits the bomb. I respect the pettiness. I really do. But it does piss me off just because no one and their mother knows William Contreras as the guy that plays Narco. Everyone and their mother knows Edwin Diaz as the man that plays Narco because he's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball right now. So it bothers me. It bothers me. It's petty. I respect the move by the Braves. I also honestly respect the pettiness by the Braves yesterday for not helping drain out the dugout for the Mets yesterday. It stayed a cesspool of water after the rain while the Braves was all dry for a while. So, hey, I mean, teams are going to do anything that they can to try to get in the heads of the opposing clubs, especially a rival, get advantage. I get it. I really do. Beatty also platoons better with Escobar than Vientos. Yep. No, you're 100% right. Exactly. Because Beatty, even though he's hitting lefties well this year, Escobar, the one thing that he has done this well for this year consistently, has hit lefties well. Because Escobar, the biggest issue that he has had from the left side of the plate, guys, is the fact that he's someone that is pulling that baseball. Escobar isn't hitting Oppo as a lefty batter much at all this year, and they're just absolutely murdering him with the shift. Next year's Escobar should have a bounce back year offensively because he won't have to worry about that shift alignment where you literally have the infielder in shallow right field next year. So I don't even know if Escobar is going to be on the Mets next year. They could trade him for all we know. But yeah, it's very interesting how Escobar's struggles have been this year. We've seen it with our own eyes. But Beatty, again, comes in and does platoon well. You're right. He absolutely does because Vientos is a guy that thrives far more off of lefty pitching than righty pitching when that's exactly what Escobar is. So the Mets aren't going to bring up him for multiple reasons, and that's just another to add to the laundry list. Let's see here, though, guys. Going to my more donations here now. Appreciate everyone chiming in, guys. Thank you all so much. Again, Brett Baty has officially been called up by the New York Mets, guys. Always great to see. We're going to be wrapping up the show, I'd say, in the next, 10 minutes or so. So whatever more comments you guys got for me, by all means, ask away. We will be live for post-game show tonight, regardless on tonight's outcome, more than likely. So unless it's a complete blowout where there's really nothing else to say, I will more than likely be live again. And then we have Mad Max, Brett Baty's debut tomorrow. And then, of course, Jacob deGrom to round out the series this Thursday. So a lot of big games coming up for these. Absolutely. I'm excited, guys. I'm so damn excited. I mean, this call-up makes me not give a rat's ass for the most part about yesterday's loss. Granted, I wasn't concerned after yesterday's loss to begin with. But now the only thing I'm looking at is I hope Cookie heals up fast. Mets thankfully have enough pitching depth there with Peterson, Will Williams, and eventually McGill once he returns from injury. But now to bring up Brett Baty, man, oh man, Mets have something cooking here. Wild Paco, or I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, Pacho, whatever it is. Thank you so much for the new membership here on the channel. I greatly appreciate that. Hype in chat for Wild with the love. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you, my friend. Let's see here in the chat. What else we got? John with the $5 donation. John, hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's see here. Oh, I clicked the wrong link. Give me 1 second, everybody. Hey, Rory, the bottom of the lineup today is brutal. And where do I think? I don't know where Beatty's going to be placed. I'd imagine he'll either be, he'll be at high 7th, I'd imagine. It all depends on how protected the Mets want Beatty to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'd imagine that they want him to be protected fairly well. I don't think he's going to be batting 9th. I think that'll still stay the catching position. So I would say 7 or 8 would make a lot of sense.